You thought the Super Bowl was just about football? Think again. Every year, millions tune in for the halftime show. An explosive mix of lights, music, and mind control, hidden messages, occult rituals. Some say it's just entertainment. Others believe it's something much, much darker. From Beyoncé's power poses to The Weeknd's maze of madness, tonight we decode the eerie and unexplained symbols hiding in plain sight. This is Eerie Super Bowl halftime shows with hidden meanings. And once you see the signs, you can't unsee them. Like, comment, and subscribe before they cut the signal. When Madonna took the stage in 2012, it wasn't just a halftime show. It looked like a full-blown ritual. She wasn't just performing pop hits, she was being carried in like a Roman goddess, adorned with golden horns and ancient Babylonian attire, riding a chariot flanked by centurions. This wasn't pageantry, it was theater with a message. The entire show was drenched in Illuminati and occult symbolism. From the Eye of Horus light formations to the pyramid-shaped stage and Baphomet-style headwear, it was hard to ignore the undercurrent of esoteric references. The choreography wasn't just movement, it seemed ceremonial, invoking ancient archetypes of power and control. And then came the moment everyone remembers. Guest performer MIA flipped the middle finger to the camera while mouthing something you'd never want your grandma hearing. Was it a rebellious outburst or part of the chaos theory? A deliberate injection of defiance during a show filled with veiled messages. The show ended with the glowing words, "World Peace," but many believe the whole thing was a coded performance. Madonna acting as a high priestess in a symbolic power grab on one of the world's most watched stages. The next year, Beyoncé headlined, but right after her performance, half the stadium's power cut out. Beyoncé came, conquered, and then the lights went out, literally. Right after her performance, the Superdome suffered a mysterious 34-minute blackout. Coincidence? Or something more? Her show was a masterclass in occult symbolism. Triangular lights resembling pyramids, flashing all-seeing eyes, mirror illusions. It was the perfect recipe for an Illuminati fever dream. Beyoncé channeled her alter ego, Sasha Fierce, a persona many interpret as her controlled, more aggressive side, a staple concept in mind control theories. Coincidence or consequence? Let's rewind. But here's what gets eerie. As her final pose freezes, the power dies. Just like that, lights out for 34 minutes. No official explanation ever satisfied conspiracy theorists. Some believe it was a powerful energy discharge, ritualistic, symbolic, even supernatural. In a multi-billion-dollar event with teams of engineers, the timing was just too suspicious. For believers, this wasn't a glitch. It was a surge of spiritual energy, or perhaps the climax of an elaborate ritual. And the timing? Chilling. A giant mechanical beast strides into the stadium. Katy Perry, dressed in flames, riding atop it like the harbinger of doom. Sound familiar? Katy Perry opened her show riding a massive, golden, robotic lion, dressed in flames, moving like a conqueror straight out of the Book of Revelation. If that doesn't scream horsemen of the apocalypse, what does? The stage quickly transitioned into a checkerboard floor, another recurring Masonic symbol of duality. Good versus evil, light versus dark. And that strange chess-like bishop character? More than just fashion. Many think it hinted at the elite's use of strategic control, religion, and media as chess pieces. Let's not forget Left Shark. While the internet had a field day with the awkward, offbeat dance, conspiracy theorists saw it differently. Deliberate distraction. While everyone laughed at a dancing fish, the real message, buried under the stage's occult references, slipped by unnoticed. And as Perry flew away on a shooting star, wrapped in red, white, and blue, she looked less like a pop icon and more like a deified figure ascending into the heavens. Is it ridiculous? Maybe. Is it deliberate? That's the real question. Lady Gaga literally jumped from the rooftop of the stadium to start her halftime performance, symbolizing, some say, Lucifer's fall from heaven. The stage was crafted with dramatic duality, robotic lights in white and red, celestial backdrops, and Gaga's glittery armor that made her look like a transhuman avatar. Her transitions between songs were erratic, sharp and theatrical, mirroring a split identity or psychological fragmentation. Her performance of Born This Way was widely praised for its message of inclusion, but some interpret the anthem as a manifesto of rebellion against divine order, fitting the broader theme of resistance and identity transformation. Near the end, Gaga caught a glittery football and disappeared into a pit after a triumphant scream. An outro many believe symbolized a sacrificial offering, a classic ending in ritualistic performance lore. At first glance, it was chaotic brilliance, mirrors, masks, glowing eyes. But slow it down and it starts to feel like a descent into madness. The Weeknd didn't just perform, he took us inside his head, or, as some believe, inside a psychological control program. From the moment he stepped into that golden mirror maze, surrounded by red-suited, bandaged clones, the symbolism was overwhelming. Mirrors often represent fractured identity. The bandages? A metaphor for Hollywood's obsession with plastic surgery, conformity, and the erasure of the self. Every movement was erratic. Every clone followed a pattern. It felt like a giant metaphor for being trapped, for being watched, for losing control. The lights flickered, the visuals were disorienting, and his expression rarely broke character, stuck in a trance. And when the camera pulled out to reveal him in a stadium full of robotic dancers, it wasn't celebration, it was subjugation. Was he warning us, or showing us what happens behind the scenes of fame? Two Latin icons, Shakira and Jennifer Lopez, lit up the field. But something felt deeply ceremonial. When Shakira and Jennifer Lopez hit the stage in 2020, the energy was raw, primal, electric. But underneath the Latin flavor, the spectacle was filled with deeply symbolic undertones. Shakira opened with belly dancing, wild animalistic gestures, and the now infamous tongue wag, which many link to the Hindu goddess Kali, a destroyer and rebirth symbol. Her fire-red outfit, serpentine hips, and wild expressions gave off more than just pop star energy. It felt ritualistic. Then came J-Lo, pole dancing on a cage-like structure, draped in the American flag with an eagle's wingspan. At one point, a young girl sang from inside a glowing cage, a haunting image many interpreted as a protest against child trafficking, while others saw it as a dark nod to the very exploitation it pretended to denounce. Both women, queens of their domain, carried out a performance that screamed empowerment, but the set design, colors, and symbols also echoed ancient goddess rites, modern captivity, and hidden narratives. A powerful message? Yes, but one that left many viewers unsure of whether they were watching a protest or a carefully staged ritual masquerading as resistance. In 2023, Rihanna returned after years of silence, and she returned like a goddess descending from the clouds. Suspended on a floating platform, dressed entirely in red while cradling her pregnant belly, she hovered like a celestial omen over the field. Suspended in red, high above the crowd, Rihanna floated like a blood moon. The color palette, crimson and white, life and death, sacrifice and purity. She began the show in a womb-like puffer, and many believe her pregnancy reveal wasn't just personal, it was cosmic. The red outfit wasn't just fashion, it screamed bloodline, power, sacrifice, and creation. Her dancers, clad in sterile white suits, resembled lab techs, clones, or even spiritual initiates in hazmat gear. She made deliberate gestures, placing her hands over her womb, forming triangles, and directing her gaze skyward, almost as if channeling divine energy. Every movement felt choreographed, not just for rhythm, but for ritual resonance. Surrounded by dancers in biohazard white suits, she orchestrated movements with outstretched arms, mimicking occult, summoning, and celestial positioning. Some noted the resemblance to Babylonian fertility goddesses. Even her pose at the end resembled the ancient symbol of Ishtar, goddess of sexuality and war. So, was Rihanna revealing a new life, or performing an ancient rite? Before the darkness took over, there was MJ. He stood still for over 90 seconds before moving, a hypnotic pause that felt spiritual. Michael Jackson didn't just perform, he commanded silence. For nearly 2 minutes, he stood motionless as the crowd roared. Time froze. Energy shifted. Then the music started. Children, earth visuals, choirs. It looked like a message of unity. But some say it was global entrancement. With the giant images of children and the phrase, "heal the world," critics argue it was a spell of submission, a plea for harmony on the surface, and something more coercive underneath. Jackson's performance was tightly choreographed, his every move deliberate, his stare into the camera unnervingly direct. Some believe this was MJ trying to break free from his handlers. Others think it was his moment to deliver a message from deep within the system he was trapped in. Either way, the energy was undeniable and eerie. Theories exploded after his death, and this performance is now seen by some as his most coded message of all. These Super Bowl halftime shows aren't just concerts. They're messages, symbols, ceremonies. Whether it's a wink to the elite, a subconscious awakening, or just clever staging, something is being said. And the question is, are you paying attention? Next time the lights dim and the music swells, look closely. The truth might be in plain sight. Until then, stay curious, stay skeptical, and stay safe. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell before the curtain closes again.